welcome back. Thank you for staying with us till now. There's a great conversation ahead. If you're just joining us for the first time, don't worry, you are on time for the first conversation of the day. And today we are celebrating World Wildlife Day, which happened yesterday actually, but we're going to have a conversation today. We have been joined by an expert. He is Dr. Patrick Muinde, who's a veterinary doctor. He's also the research manager at Wild Animal Protection, and he will shed a lot of light in this conversation. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me give you the opportunity to explain to us what you do as a veterinary doctor and your expertise in this space of wild animal.
Yes, I work for Wild Animal Protection, where I work as a research manager. So my work encompasses the name. It's about research, collecting data that informs what we do and which directs the policy and direction that we need to take to conserve wildlife. So basically, I work with governments, I work with the public, and I work with other experts in the field.
Okay.
Just to understand how the space that wildlife is in, the current threats, including the trade, and advising the direction that needs to be taken so that we prevent further extinction of species. As you know, there are so many threats facing wild animals at the moment. So basically that's what I do, and also bring on board animal welfare aspect of it, ensuring that animals are well taken care of. The well-being of animal is at the center of what we do. That is both wild animals and also farmed animals. Yes. Okay,
great. Clearly, you'll be the right person to talk to you in this conversation. So, this year's theme, I have seen, is conservation, finance, investing in people and planet. Yes. So, tell us about this theme.
Yes. As you know, as a country and also globally, we do get a lot from wild animals, from wildlife, and it does contribute significantly to our GDP. But again, the question is how much are we putting into wildlife conservation? If you see, there's a big mismatch, because little is given or little is allocated for wildlife conservation. So basically, this year is talking for more investment into wildlife conservation, so that we are able to tackle the current challenges that are facing wildlife. And again, this year's World Wildlife Day celebration, also we are celebrating CITES. CITES is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Fauna and Flora. This is a global treaty that governs or directs how trade of wild animals should take place globally.
Okay.
So there's that coincidence that the same day we are celebrating 50th anniversary for CITES.
It's the 50th?
Yes.
Speaking of trade, just yesterday we were talking about, I don't know if that is an example of a trade, but there's a species that apparently was in Kenya some time back, and then because of the conditions in Kenya, it was taken to the US, and now we have it back, called bongo.
Yes.
So I've never heard of any, wild animal called bongo. I just discovered that yesterday, which is quite interesting.
Mountain bongo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about that. How does that work?
Yes, many years ago, many things happened in terms of wildlife in Kenya and in Africa. We have so many species that are native in Kenya, but they were exported, or rather taken from Kenya, because those days we did not have clear direction on which our wildlife is going to take. And also we are under colony by British, so a lot happened basically, and people could come in and take whatever they wish. For example, trophy hunting for elephants used to take place those days, but now it has stopped.
Yeah.
So that is just one of the species which is threatened, the mountain bongo. And the numbers are quite small. They are native to Kenya. And the key issue was inbreeding. You see, when there's inbreeding, there's lack of genetic diversity. So bringing those one here it's creating more chances for diversity, so that as you grow that population back to numbers which are not threatened, we prevent any inbreeding. So the essence of just to prevent inbreeding and to make sure that we have genetic diversity of the species.
So would we have other species that are native to Kenya but are still outside?
Yes, yes. I imagine there are quite many, and I imagine they are there because what you know about wildlife is limited, quite little. There's a lot that we still don't know, and in fact there are also other species which are yet to be discovered. So I would be shocked to find other species outside Kenya and they're native to Kenya. So there's a lot, I can say that.
There's a lot. How big is global trade, and how is that really helping the endangered species?
Global wildlife trade is big business, and it's fourth. If you compare it, for example, drugs, weapons, human trafficking, it comes number 4. And it is estimated to be worth millions of dollars because of the value chain. Okay, if you consider from the capture, from the poachers, for example, to shipping and to export, is quite a big business, and it happens both legally and illegally. For example, there are species that are allowed to be traded legally, and that's where CITES come in to regulate that kind of international trade. But also the illegal aspect of it is quite equally big, and because of that, we are trading on these species while we don't know their numbers in the world. Of course, I understand some of them are coming from farms, but again, legalizing wildlife trade, it creates avenue for illegal business. Illegal business. Yes, too. Yes, because of the poaching, and people are seeing this as a space where they can generate money. So it's multi-billion dollar industry. For example, the legal aspect is about $20 billion US, and the legal US, as you imagine, is higher than that.
Wow. Yeah. Definitely. So it might not be a good thing after all, you know, if not regulated. Even when regulated, then that still leaves a loophole for the illegal trade to take place.
Yes, for sure. For example, if I give you what a derivative, could be a skin, or could be a feather, or could be scales. If I give you it as a customer, you might not be able to differentiate if it's from legal aspect or illegal aspect. Okay. If you look from, for example, other birds which are traded, for example, African grey parrot, some of them are bred in captivity and they're exported, and others are caught from the wild. But the moment you have that bird in your home, you won't be able to tell if it's from the wild or if it's from the farm. So again, it's quite complicated, legal and illegal trade. When you look at the product, the end product, it's so hard for you to differentiate which was from legal aspect and which was being acquired illegally.
Okay, you have mentioned farm, and now I want to understand wildlife farming. Is it how some people keep lions in their homes? Because I've had people, I don't know why someone would want to keep a lion in their home, but someone raising a lion as a pet, you know, in their home, that kind of a thing. Is that wildlife farming?
No, basically that is called the exotic pet trade.
Exotic pet trade. Yes.
So basically you are keeping that lion as a pet. It's yes, like how you keep your dog or your cat. Yeah, but now it's exotic because it's not common. You call it exotic because it's not common. Basically, it's a wild animal. But again, remember, it is still a wild animal when you're keeping it. Okay, maybe you got it when it was young. It is going to grow, to become bigger, and again, it will have to show its instincts that is still a wild animal. Because domestication is quite a long process. It takes thousands of years. Just imagine how long it took for us to domesticate dogs, to domesticate cattle, for example. No, you're telling me dogs and cats were wild at some point? And yes, those are domesticated. That's why they are called domesticated animals. Oh, I mean, just thought they were created domestic. No. I don't know. Wow. Yeah. So basically, and for example, the case of lion, you are keeping it in a cage, in a very small space, and look how it behaves when it's in the wild. It is able to walk and to hunt thousands and thousands of kilometers, but you are keeping it in a cage. So basically, you are stressing that animal, it's going to be aggressive, and later on, it's coming to attack you. You have seen many stories where people have been attacked by their by the wild animals that they are keeping.
True.
Could be a lion, could be a snake.
Yeah.
People are doing crazy things, but they don't know the health aspects of that. Because it will catch up with a matter of time anyway.
Wow. But why is that even allowed? Because, you know, how does someone take a lion and pet it?
Yes. Basically, there are two things. The laws in each country vary. For example, our laws, they vary from, they are different from other countries. Okay, so some countries allow keeping of animals as exotic pets. And again, there's an aspect of wealth. People are getting more money, disposable income. So they think, what else can I get? Then they opt for wild animal.
Wow.
You go to social media in X space or in Facebook, you see somebody with a lion, with a tiger, with cheetah. Then you say, why not? Let me get one. For example, you talked about Dubai. Dubai is quite wealthy city. You look at UAE, it's quite wealthy country, so there's a lot of money in that.
Elephants in India,
Yeah, so that's the same case basically, because people have money, they think owning and keeping a wild animal in their home is fancy, but again, they're not factoring the suffering that the animal is undergoing. Okay.
And what are the rules in Kenya, what are regulations in Kenya? Does it allow?
Only farming is allowed for a given number of species, not all of them. For example, a lion is protected species. You can't keep lion. Yes, in Kenya as a species, you can. Of course, there are some species which are allowed. For example, you know, African creep parrot. That's one of the species which are allowed. But again, as organization are saying that's not the right thing to do, because these birds, you are subjecting them to cruel environment. Okay, so what we are calling for is, of course, you understand Kenya has very good policies. If you look at Africa and internationally, Kenya is one of the countries which has very good laws that protect wildlife. But again, there's still that one step that needs to make to ensure that these wild animals are left in the world, to discourage and outlaw wildlife farming because of the cruel aspect of it, and also the connection with poaching. Okay.
I'm being asked, what about now that Kenya allows some, and if I want a lion, but not as a pet, just to open a zoo of some sort, just as a citizen, is that allowed, and what is the process? How is the process like, if yes?
Yes, Kenya Wildlife Services has guidelines in case you want to open a zoo, which you need to follow. But again, the question is, why should you open a zoo and you can go to Masai Mara? You can go to Savo, you can go to Amboseli and see these wild animals.
No, it's for business purposes. I want to make it, you know, my business to earn money, because with my Saimara I'm not able to earn money for myself, but because I'm a lover of wild animals and I want to make money through that, so I want to take care of them and people come and pay me for that. Yeah,
there's other opportunities in which you can make money other than keeping it in a zoo. For example, digital tourism, it is there. Some organizations, you can imagine now, you can have, you see how you have a virtual reality experiences, 3D and all that kind of thing. For example, there's a conservancy here in Kenya. Wherever you are, they have put traps, cameras all over the place, and you're able to see what is happening in the world, wherever you are. So that's where the technology is going now. Just to enjoy, to experience the animals in the world using digital means. So that's where the direction is going, because again, trust me, zoos, for you as an investor, you might think it's a good investment, but again, people are coming to realize that keeping these animals in the zoo, basically, you are, it's cruelty to them. because you are not able to meet their natural needs that they get when they're in the wild. For example, imagine the social interaction they have. You have one lion, you have caged it, but in the wild, for example, if it's a male, it has its own pack. Okay, it has its own territory. Okay, if you look at how it earns, how it behaves, it's not able to do that. So you are causing more harm to the animal than truly loving them.
Okay.
So there's that transition. People are moving away and trying to enjoy wildlife, trying to use technology to have those wildlife experiences.
Okay, I love that. That, you know, even with technology, you're able to visit places in the wild where you might not afford to go to. You know, let's say I want to see polar bears, and they're not in Kenya, but I can have an experience. You know, see them in the wild. That's how you're describing it, right?
Yeah.
Interesting, quite interesting. Now, what are some of the mostly traded wildlife species, and why are they on demand?
Yes, there are quite a number, quite many of them. One of them is African grey parrot, kasuku.
Yeah,
okay.
we all know kasuku.
We all know kasuku.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful. If you look at it, it's quite beautiful, grey, and it's quite a nice bird. And also it's able to make people. That's one of the highly traded bird species to be kept as a pet. Okay. Another one is pangolins. You know pangolins, their scales. It's a mammal. It's one of the most traded mammal globally for its scales, which are used for traditional Asian medicine.
Asian medicine.
People believe,
so
yes.
That's what they used to make, like the facial products.
There are so many. People assume those scales they're able to treat so many things.
Okay.
Could be your skin, could be arthritis, could be libido. There are so many things which people talk about that the scales are able to treat. The same case with the rhino horns. Okay, but again, these things have not been scientifically proven, because if you look at the component of those scales of the horn is keratin, which forms your nails. So does your nails have any medicinal value? No. We still don't have that scientific evidence to support that. So those kind of trade happen in big numbers. And again, as you know, ivory for elephants, which are kept as ornaments.
So they are in high demand because they see there's some value that they get from this particular species.
Yes, first yes, they think, for example, there's a medicinal value when they buy products which have been sourced from these animals, and also they think it's fancy to have in your living room to have that bird there, just singing for you, or to have ivory in your home, just to see, or for example, a ring or a necklace which has ivory. So there's that kind of trying to be associated with world-sourced materials.
Okay, so this trade basically it contributes to biodiversity loss, right?
Yes, it does.
So how can that be mitigated?
Yes, there are quite a number of things because what allows that to happen first is because our laws or laws from other countries allow that to happen. Okay, if you look at southern African countries, trade of wild animals is no more thing. They allow farming of wild animals. They allow trade of animals. For example, in South Africa, there are farms who keep lions. Like you continuously farm animals, lions as you do for sheep and goats. You breed them.
Wow.
So that you're able to meet demand. First of the key thing is to have laws which are protecting wild animals, which are protecting their habitats. Okay, because the moment it's illegal, no one is going to do it. And stop legalizing any wildlife trade, because if you legalize it, you are creating avenue for illegal market to happen. Yes, basically. Then the other thing is creating awareness, because many people don't know what it entails to get that bird. For example, for you to get that African grey parrot, maybe you are based in an Asian country. For you to get it, there are many of them which have died on the way from trapping to the moment you have that bird. For example, we have done research, and out of 10, only 4 make it to the final destination.
So 6 die on the way?
6 die on the way. Okay, because of the coil capture method, where they just use glue-like material. Basically, how they do it, they have a bird which is tied on somewhere. Then when it cries, the other birds flock. They'll perch on a tree nearby. So that tree is painted with glue-like material. So when they perch there, they get stuck there. And now when they are pulling them, many of them get injury, many of them die. Then the cruel shipping, because it's illegal. So even the shipping is not done to the standards. So many of them die. So the end product, there's a lot of suffering. Many birds have been lost before you have that one in your home. So people don't know that. So creating awareness on the things that happen to our animals is quite important. Okay. And also, people don't know what is biodiversity loss. They don't know how it looks like. We keep saying...
Paint the picture for us.
Yes. For example, Earth has been there for how long? Is it 4.5 billion years? I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. And do you know that you have lost 99% of species have extinct since the Earth was formed?
Wow.
So again, we are seeing extinctions happening. Okay, we read stories of dinosaurs. Our kids,
So dinosaurs were actually there?
They're actually there.
Wow. And
many other alligators, they're actually there. But now we see them in cartoons, basically.
Only, I actually thought they were just myths. There's no way dinosaurs existed.
Yes, imagine. And that is not because it's big animal. So just imagine the small animals, the likes of scorpion species, the likes of beetles, the likes of flies. Okay, so we have lost so many animals extinct. We don't know, and we are not taking measures to ensure that no further extinction that is happening. Yeah.
What does that do to us as a people? Because someone's like, why do I need to care about dinosaurs? If all the lions go extinct, how does that really affect me as a person?
Yes, basically, yes, that's where you come in. Every species, may it be as big as elephant, may it be as small as scorpion, it has a critical role in maintaining our ecosystem. For example, I can give example of bees. Honeybees, okay? Yeah. You see bees as honey, but they play a critical role in pollination. Many times farmers use pesticides to kill everything. They are killing bees which are helping with pollination. Just imagine, how will you do pollination without bees, which is natural pollination? Yeah. So if you look at how our soil is maintained, the soil, earthworms, and other and other species that we find in our soil, they help maintain that soil, which help us in crop farming. So there's a lot that we benefit from wildlife, directly and indirectly. And the moment we have more loss to the species, the impact will be coming to us.
We feel it even in the... So it's an ecosystem, and we coexist together.
Yeah,
you know, it's typically like the food chain we were drawing in high school. So if this is not there, then there's an imbalance somewhere. Symbiosis, yes,
exactly, yes.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. So we need to really be keen in taking care of our wildlife.
For sure.
All right. Now, I understand there are zoonotic diseases.
Yes.
So tell us about zoonotic diseases and what brings this about.
Yes, these are diseases that can be transmitted from animals to humans. And to give statistics to that, 60% of diseases that we have at the moment, they are zoonotic. Like you can get them from animals.
Like 60% of the diseases we have as humans?
Yes, are zoonotic.
What are some of the diseases that are zoonotic?
Salmonella is an example. You know it. Anthrax is an example.
Arthritis?
No, anthrax.
Anthrax, okay.
Yes, anthrax.
Okay.
Okay. Is an example. Campylobacteriosis is an example. Rabies, you know rabies?
Rabies.
Is an example. Yes. So there are quite a number of diseases that can be passed from animals to humans. And again, most of the emerging diseases, okay, they are going to come from animals. And I say that by 75% chance. that any emerging disease is going to come from animals.
How,
we are just from COVID-19.
They came from bats?
Yes, in World Animal Market.
Oh my.
Okay.
Wow.
Because what happens there, people are keeping animals in filthy areas, filthy conditions, in enclosed conditions. These animals get stressed. When they are stressed, they shed pathogens. Could be a virus. It gets to an environment, it changes, it mutates, then it passes to humans. And again, animals which are not naturally in their natural habitat, they don't come close together. For example, terrestrial animals and aquatic animals. Naturally, they don't come close together.
Yeah.
But they are brought together when they are in the market. For example, you can find fish and primate close to each other. So you can imagine, these animals have been separated naturally, but you are bringing them together. So there's a possibility of pathogen spillover, then mutate and spilling over to humans. So human-animal interaction basically is creating chances for these zoonotic diseases. And also consumption of bushmeat, you know. Bushmeat, as much as it's illegal, people are still doing that. But but again, it's a risk. If you look at diseases like Ebola, okay, it's because of bushmeat consumption, unclean wild animals and all that.
Okay.
So there's a lot how we are relating with animals, how we are unclean animals. Basically, it creates more avenues for zoonotic diseases to occur. Wildlife farming, you know wildlife farming, where people are keeping animals, they are farming animals, wild animals basically. Again, that's close human-animal interaction. You are going there to feed them, you are going there to look after them, you are keeping them in dirty environments, you don't have protective garments, there's no biosecurity in your farm. Then after that, you go to the market. So in case of any disease happening there, it will spread quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite something, and you've said with such certainty that any diseases that will come, 75% likelihood is that they will be from animals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is quite staggering. And now, how do we prevent that? Is it that people should, because some people really pride themselves in eating wild meat, game meat. So it's actually a bad thing, but some have licenses. Some people have licenses to actually sell this meat. We know of restaurants that sell wild meat, but I don't even understand why it's allowed then if it's harmful to the human population at the end of the day.
Yes, of course we have laws like meat inspection is the key thing because of their food safety. Any meat that is sold to human it has to be inspected and be passed as fit for human consumption.
So it's safe,
okay.
Like the crocodiles.
Yes, I'm coming there.
Okay.
So probably that meat has been inspected, but again, have you consumed all the cows, all the goats of this world for you to go after crocodiles? That's the question, basically.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot for us to eat outside there. Okay. And again, that illusion that you think consuming crocodile is fancy, consuming ostrich or any other animal is fancy. But again, have you exhausted what has been domesticated? Okay, because there's more risk into that. Okay, there's more risk of disease emerging from wild animals as compared to humans. I mean, as compared to livestock, because you find in livestock farming, we have these animals has been domesticated. We have experts, okay, we're able to check how these animals are kept in the farm, how they are produced, all through the value chain up to the market. But again, do you have the same number of experts when it comes to wildlife?
Okay.
No, we don't have the same. So so any avenue that we are using to get in close contact with all animals, it's basically worsening the situation. So the thing is, let the wild animals be, and let the humans be, and let's coexist.
Let's coexist. Let's just let them stay where we are. Just coexist like that.
Yes.
We depend on livestock, domestic animals. Okay, so that's on the feeding. But there are also wild animals that people use for in recreation, like riding wild animals. Why is that harmful? Is it harmful?
So basically, for you to ride a wild animal, it has to be trained to carry human, because it's something that it has never done before. Not like donkey, not like a horse.
Is that a camel?
Okay, it's not like a camel, right? So there's a lot of training that has to happen for that wild animal to accept something on its back. But for that training to happen, you have to make this animal to be submissive. For you to be submissive, I have to beat you well.
Oh no.
I have to physically hurt you.
Oh.
So these animals are cruelly trained to carry people, for people to ride them physically.
Okay.
For example, if you look at Thailand, how elephants are trained, people go to Thailand to have elephant ride and all that.
Oh.
There's a lot of cruel aspect into that, because these elephants are painfully trained for that. Okay, basically they are poked with hooks just to be submissive, and in case you misbehave, just imagine if you are going to misbehave with another pork, you'll behave.
Oh.
So there's a lot of cruel training of these animals to be able to carry people, to entertain people and all that.
Okay.
And that is one of the things that we are calling, that's one of the industry that we are calling to an end, because it's not factoring the animal sentience. Animal sentient being is able to feel pain.
Yeah,
it's able to be emotional.
Yeah.
Yes, it's able to remember.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I remember you poked me, now
I can't,
let me be submissive. Yes. So that's why you're calling these industries are cruel, and you're asking people not to visit those kind of facilities, those kind of venues where they are providing those services like elephant riding, or street riding, or any other riding of wild animal.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like that's just subjecting it to slavery. That is literally slavery.
Basically it is.
It is, because they know it's not their rightful place to be in. You're forcing them into it. It's like they don't have a right. They know if they either do this or this happens. So the next time I see someone riding an elephant in Thailand, I'm not saying, oh, that is actually a red flag. It's actually not fancy anymore, because the picture created and the ground when you visit Zico, they're totally different again. And maybe people do not have the understanding of this. Do you think that people actually know about it? Because for me, if you had told me I'm going for an elephant ride in Thailand, we're like, all over the place, I'd be happy and excited and looking forward to it, But it's not because mostly because I do not know what goes behind that. Yes.
What will seller tell you? The seller of the ticket will tell you, come and enjoy fancy elephant riding.
Yeah.
We won't tell you, come and enjoy fancy riding from elephant, which has been cruelly trained to carry you. Okay. So there's a lot of hidden information. Okay. The truth of business is not at limelight of the visitor. So you have no idea the conditions that animal has undergone to be able to carry you.
Okay.
So there's a lot of secrecy, and the public are shown the perceived good thing, but what is happening behind the doors is kept there.
Okay.
And basically that is what you're exposing. Okay. Before you ride that elephant, just know it has undergone through this and this and this and this. So it makes no sense to make these animals suffer more. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's enlightening. I'm thanking God that Kenya we don't have that, at least that kind of cruelty for all animals. Now, speaking about the cruelty involved, there's also the human-wildlife conflict, right?
Yes.
And we have seen cases where the wildlife have actually killed human beings in some regions because they intruded in their spaces, and as a way of retaliating or as a way of self-defense, the humans also attack
Yes.
the wild animals. So this has been a thing that has been there for a long time.
Yes.
What is happening now? And I know of a recent story that where someone who was affected by a wildlife got permanent disability and did not get help, and then they ended up dying by suicide because they felt that no compensation is being given for them. So it's a problem that is there. What is being done about this?
Yes. First, our sympathies to those who have been affected by wildlife, those who have been attacked, because, for example, the case that you have just given is quite painful.
It is.
And it's something that you don't wish to happen again. I know KWS has mechanisms, for example, for compensation when it comes to wildlife attacks. And that's docket within KWS and also county governments. There's a task force that has been put in place that handles those kind of situations. But the key thing is, why is human-wildlife conflict happening? Okay. Because, of course, we know human population is increasing. But as we increase, as we develop, we are not factoring in wild animals. Okay? I'll give an example of fencing. You see how people are fencing, you go, you buy your 50 to 100, or you go buy your 3 acres, then you just put barbed wire fence. Then it happens that those kind of things are happening where we have wildlife corridors. Wild animals are able to pass information from generation to generation. There's that kind of knowledge.
Okay.
You are my child, I pass this information to you, so you know, every season you need to migrate, you need to be here. So there's a path that you have been shown, corridor.
Okay.
We call them wildlife corridors. So when you find human settlements up in those corridors, definitely you are going to have continued conflicts, because
they have been taught that you'll
be passing through. Yeah, they know that's the direction that you'll be passing. Okay, so in those instances, you are going to have human-wildlife conflict. Then there's another aspect of buffer zones. Buffer zones, these are areas that are near conservancies, okay, or a national park. You have a land surrounding that, in which it creates more space in case of any potential attack. At least there's space to take care of increasing number of wild animals.
Okay.
Okay. So I know government is working so hard to have buffer zones to protect wildlife migration corridors, and also to educate people on how to deal when it comes to wildlife conflicts. Another example is people have become innovative. For example, some community-owned land, they have agreed, the community itself have agreed they are not going to put any permanent structure in their community land. Okay. They are not going to fence that. So they are going to leave it open there so that wild animals can be able to freely move in that land. Okay. Okay. Then if you look at why predators, for example, lions, cheetahs, they come to eat goats and cows. There's fencing, there's good fencing, predator fencing, which prevents these lions from coming into your herd. And also, that is closely linked to other things which you think they are not related, but they are. You talked about consuming game meat. The moment you consume this game meat, could be gazelles, digs, you see those kind of species, you're eating food that is intended for lions and cheetahs.
So they come eat your food.
So they come, yes, because now there are no more gazelles. Oh, no. They are not enough. What will they do? They'll come to eat that. If you don't protect the environment to have enough pastures, which is able to sustain these herbivores, okay, the lions will have to look for food. Then it will come to your herd. Wow. So it's quite a, I know it's quite a big topic, and there are so many aspects on it to look at it. But again, as I said, everything is surviving. It's about survival for the fittest. Okay. Even that lion, that cheetah is trying to survive. The same case as you as human. So the key thing is, how do we coexist? How do we have these, and how do we protect the habitats and ensure that those habitats are able to sustain them.
Okay. What about the case of Langata Rongai, where we've had incidences where lion, for the two, I think, incidences, it's a lion. I don't know why the wildest of them all is the one that escapes and goes to the population, you know. And in the last one, if I'm not wrong, it got into a compound. I remember it picked, I think, the dog. I felt for the dog, and it went. I would not feel safe in such an area. So what is the logic behind that then? Because they're in a protected area, these animals.
Yes, if you look at Nairobi National Park, constructions is happening around it. Okay, yeah, in Nairobi is here. We have Kitengela here, Rongai. You talked about Rongai. So these animals are like being enclosed within a given area. Okay, and because of that, the corridors which used to be there, they are no longer there, where they are able to migrate from one park to another. Ideally, all the parks and the reserves need to be connected.
All right.
Okay, so that's from Nairobi National Park, that is connected to another reserve or a park or a ranch and that kind of thing. So if that is not happening, if you are enclosing and putting infrastructure buildings around that, those cases will continue to happen for sure.
All right. Interesting. This conversation, we could take the whole day to talk about it, but I want you to tell us, as a way of closing, how do we come in to create wildlife welfare? What is wildlife welfare, and how can each individual participate in that?
Okay. Wildlife welfare, yes. Basically, this is the well-being of all animals. Okay, and by well-being, we mean this animal being left in the world where it belongs. Okay, not keeping this animal in confinement, not keeping this animal in captivity, and not exploiting this animal in any way. Okay, for example, as I mentioned, exporting parrots for exotic pet trade, killing rhinos for their horns for traditional medicine, pangolins and all those kind of things. So wildlife welfare is well-being of all animals, ensuring that they are protected in their habitat and they are living in their world environment where they are able to socialize and interact with other animals of the same kind.
Okay. Yeah. And how can we come in to enable that, each individual?
Yes, there are so many ways in which you can come into that. One of them is a responsible tourism, okay? And by that is going to see these animals in their wild habitats, okay? Right. Not going to venues which are exploiting animals. For example, the venues that you talked about, riding elephants and all that, okay? Then the second thing is advocacy work. That is asking governments to come up with laws and the regulations that ensure wild animals and their habitats are protected, that legalize any trade whatsoever of wild animal or its derivatives. Okay. Then the other thing is protecting their habitats, because the moment the habitat is not protected, they will have nowhere to live. Okay, you have seen many cases of deforestation happening. When you cut tree, basically you are destroying home for these animals. You are destroying food for these animals. So those are the kind of things that you are calling upon for people to come together and to act on.
Okay. Finally, how does technology and innovation come in to help out in conserving wildlife sustainably?
Yes, technology, as you know, it's creating, it's transforming our lives in so many ways, including those of wildlife conservation. Because without technology, I don't think we would be where we are at the moment. Yeah. For example, doing wildlife census. To do census, you need technology to know the number of wild animals that you have. Using GPS tracking to know the location of these animals, so that you're able to track wherever they are, their movements, and also to alert people in case of any potential human-wildlife conflict. And also tracking the source. For example, in case of trafficking, okay, when products are trafficked and they are and they are confiscated somewhere in the airport, there's potential being taken to the lab for forensic medicine, for forensic analysis, to be told, so that you're able to tell, for example, if it's an ivory, to tell this is from Kenya, this is from Tanzania, from South Africa, that kind of thing. So technology is playing critical role in conserving wild animals. And also in case of communication, for example, even social media, that is technology.
Yeah,
we use social media to share this kind of messaging, to tell people, to inform people on how to relate with wild animals, to tell people about conservation, to alert people on understand what biodiversity loss means, so that they're able to take actions.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for the amazing pointers that you've given us, such enlightening. I mean, I have gotten out of this conversation with so much knowledge. I hope you have. I want to invite you just to share your social handles, in case if you have one final word that you'd want to share with our audience. This is your camera.
Yes, thank you so much, Stephanie. Yes, you can find us on Twitter, that is X, at Move the World AF. In there, you'll find a lot of content about what we do. We are in Facebook at World Animal Protection Africa, and also in Instagram at World Animal Protection Africa. In there, you'll be able to get to know more about what we do, and we'll seek our support, because our mission is we move the world to protect animals. And when you say we, it's not us as World Animal Protection, but also with you as our supporters. Because again, protecting animals is not an easy job. It requires all of us to come together for it, so that we can end animal cruelty and suffering forever. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Patrick, for coming on board. That has been Dr. Patrick Muinde. He's a veterinary doctor and the research manager at Wild Animal Protection. I hope you've taken something from this conversation. What I would say is, let the wild be in the wild, and let us maintain our ecosystem, because we need each other. You have a role to play in protecting wild animals. This is where we take a pause, take a break, and then Brian Sakwa will be coming up with the next conversation. Stay with us.